All right, good afternoon and thanks for joining me. My name is Erin with Kendra Professional. This is my model Khalees, and today we're going to be doing a transformation on her to get her lighter and brighter. She has had darker toned hair for about the last probably year and a half, yeah? And so she's ready to lighten and brighten it up. Because of her job, she travels a lot, so she does really want to keep a low maintenance shade. She wants to be light and bright, but not have to be in the salon, you know, those every 6 to 8 weeks. So we're really going to make sure to brighten her through her mids and ends. We're going to do a great shadow root to really diffuse and disguise that new growth, as she's not able to be in the salon as often as some of our blonde clients. We will be lifting through both some natural new growth and some artificial color through her mids and ends. You can see she's got some lightness through already. She also has currently a very bold money piece that we are going to keep, but give a little diffusion for, disguising that grow out as it comes when her hair is back in a ponytail. Just a quick rundown. We have a triangle piece, mid eyebrow to mid eyebrow, coming to right at the top. Look down for me, hun. Perfect. And then from the tip of that triangle, we're going to drag it down at a slight reverse, a little backward diagonal angle here to the top of the ear. And back up the top. If she looks down, she has a center part. So you can see this is the widest part of the triangle, and the tips of the triangle come at the tops of the ears. So we have a small triangle at the fringe, the two triangles on the side, and then her back section is real dark. So I'm just going to be I just split it all the way down with her center part, and we're just going to move upwards at the angle of the hairline to really give really great bright coverage through there. So those are our sections, and you'll also be able to see those on the head sheets attached. So can't wait to get started, and thanks for joining me today. All right, so to get started, we are going to be starting in the back section, working our way from bottom to top. She's the darkest back here, and oftentimes the back of the head takes the longest to process anyways. It's a little bit more resistant. We are going in today with the Kendra Simply Blonde Beyond Bond Lightener. This is the brand new formulation. And because we are going to be doing a full foil, I'm going to start with 20 volume in the back. As I get closer to finishing my application, I will likely switch to 30 volume just to make sure we get through that old color and get her as bright as possible. One of the main reasons I'm choosing this lightener today, the Beyond Bond, is because she has been processed several times. She's been light, she's been dark, she's been red. So with that dual bond technology in the Beyond Bond lightener, we're going to make sure that her integrity is kept top of mind, and that she's going to come away from this appointment with every single hair still on her head without any breakage or extra damage that doesn't need to happen. See, she's happy about that. Okay, so you can see I'm about halfway done with this first section. Each of these foils is alternating a weave and a slice. And on the weaves, I'm doing between a medium and a really chunky weave. We want really bright boldness, so I'm not doing any little baby lights or anything like that. And on the slices, I am teasing pretty aggressively on all of the slices. So these are alternated with slices and weaves all the way up. This last one was a slice. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this weave one for you. I am leaving between like a 1/4 and a 1/2 inch subsection between. You can see my weave there. Like I said, pretty medium to chunky. And although on the weaves, I'm not necessarily backcombing at the top, I'm just kind of feathering it so it's not solid all the way at the root. Because again, we do want to leave some natural root, and I am gonna go in after rinsing and create a shadow root in there anyways. So really good saturation through here, and just kind of feathering at the top. Folding, but making sure we're not swiping across that foil, just tapping it and sealing. So that was a weave. Our next one is going to be a slice after a little subsection here. And you can see I started at the hairline angle, and I'm maintaining that angle all the way up. So this one's going to be our slice. I'm just going to take my foil comb and give a couple little back combs there. As far as formulation goes for her shadow root and her gloss, I have not determined those yet. because I really want to see, because we are lifting through some natural and some artificial deposit pigment, she knows that she wants to be lighter and cooler. So I never set an exact plan of this is exactly what we're going to use before I see what the foils have lifted to, because we may have to change our mind. So once I get her all rinsed, then we will determine what her gloss and shadow root shades will be. So that was my slice. I'm going to continue doing alternating weaves and slices all the way up to the top of the section with our Simply Blonde Beyond Bond lightener. And now I am starting on the first side triangle over here. So again, the wider top part of the triangle is at the top. This is her part, and it comes to a point right at her ear. One thing that is really important with this, we don't want to have a big stripe right at her part, right? We don't want this big heavy panel. So really making sure that along the part, normally, like I said, we're doing alternating weaves and slices. I'm going to do 2 weaves on either side. So when I start the next triangle, there's also going to be 2 weaves because we want it to be soft and blended at the root. We don't want on her part to have this big flat panel of bright blonde. We'll be doing the same, about the same subsections, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. We still want to leave some good depth and dimension through there, but instead of alternating all of them, weave, slice, weave, slice, weave, slice, I'm going to do 2 weaves on this top section, then a slice, and then continue back to my original pattern of alternating every other. So that was my first weave. I'm going to take a little subsection and bring it back. Now this is also going to be a weave. All right, there's my other weave. I did that one slightly bigger than that first one on the part line because it will be underneath some subsection there. So moving down this section horizontally, now I'm gonna start going slice, weave again. Also making sure I back comb those slices. So now working on these front side sections, we're gonna be working at the angle of the hairline here. So again, like I did along the part on the top, so I'm going to be doing 2 weaves before I start my alternating weave and slice, and I'm going to be following the angle of her hairline, working backwards. So her hair is pretty fine in the front, so I'm going to be taking smaller sections, smaller subsections. We don't want to lose those highlights. I am going to weave this front one so that there is natural left out on the hairline. And I'm going to continue alternating weaves and slices now. All right, so now we are on to our final section. This is gonna include her fringe. You can see this triangle just goes back a few inches. So you can see here that the last stylist did a very bold money piece. And like I said before in our consultation, we determined that she wants a little bit lower maintenance because she just can't get to the salon as frequently as she should to maintain this bold line. So she does want to keep some sort of money piece and brightness pop around her face. So we are going to do it, but what we're going to do a lot more weaving, a lot more teasing, and that is going to diffuse that line of demarcation as it grows out. So right on her hairline here, I'm going to take a pretty fine section. Just gonna clip this to some foils. To help diffuse when she pulls back, I'm going to leave, just like I did on the sides, I'm gonna weave it down so that there is natural down in the front, okay? So that will help diffuse when she pulls her hair back. You may have noticed before I was using a really wide brush because I was trying to cover a lot more ground. In this section, I want to be really careful of not overlapping on this big bold piece, so I did change my brush size. So I am going up to the scalp on this because that shadow root is also going to help to you know, mute out that new growth line. So there's that. This next one, I'm going to take a really small section. I have not left a big subsection out. You can see her foil is right here. Instead of doing a full subsection, I'm just gonna do a weave and let the fallout from her weave be the subsection. So really small. All right, so we have processed and rinsed. I shampooed her hair, made sure I got all the lightener out using the Kendra Platinum Color Charge shampoo and conditioner. Before doing a toner or gloss, I always shampoo, condition, and detangle. So let's talk about her shadow root. Her shadow root, I mixed up equal parts of Kendra Demi. It is 6 NUA and 7 B. Our gloss formula is also Kendra Demi, and I did equal parts of 8 SM and 8 VM, and then I did just a tiny little bit of the 9 GB. So we do want to make her as cool as possible, which is why I'm going in with both the blue base in the SM and the violet base in the VM. But I love to add a little bit of gold into all of my toning formulas because gold is what reflects light. So that's where you're gonna get that brightness back. Most important before any toning or deposit application is this is the porosity equalizing spray. So this is going to help even out the porosity. You know, she had been pre-lightened a little bit at her ends already and around that money piece. So I'm really making sure and saturating. And then I'm just gonna brush it through to make sure it is dispersed. All right, going in with our shadow root. Again, this is the 6 NUA and 7 B. I am parting her into quadrants to keep my sections nice and clean. And I'm just going to be applying her shadow root to the first about an inch, basically. Give or take. I don't like to necessarily have it be the exact same everywhere because you want to make sure that it is a nice blended line. Okay, so her shadow root is on. Now we are going to go in with this gloss. Again, this is 8SM, 8VM, and just a tiny bit of 9GB. I am going to focus my application first on this middle section where she had that existing artificial color. I want to let it sit a little bit longer through that midsection than I do like on her money piece or on her really light ends. We are going to be doing a haircut, so some of these ends are going to go anyways. So again, I'm going to focus this gloss on these midsections where we have that little bit of extra warmth before I go through and really get it at the root section or just below the root section and on that. Okay, we let the toner process on that midsection for about 7 minutes. So now I'm going to go back through and apply to everywhere that I haven't, which is mainly up where her new growth was and down at her ends, and just making sure I'm saturating everything really well. And I'm just kind of smushing with my fingers to blend that shadow root in with the rest of the gloss here. Okay. All right, her gloss is all rinsed out. it's time to move on to our haircut. I just got her out of the shampoo bowl. To detangle her, I'm gonna be using the Kendra Platinum Pearl Detangler. This is my absolute favorite detangler. It works great as a cutting lotion also. It is a really nice milky consistency that sprays out easily. I love a detangler that sprays easily. You're also gonna get thermal protection from it. So for her haircut today, she has been growing her hair out, so we are gonna try to keep some of her length, but she definitely needs a trim of the dead ends. I'm also going to be changing her shape. She's currently pretty squared off in the back, and she likes to have a little long curtain bang. She loves some good framing, so I'm going to convert the shape of her haircut into more of a U or a V type of shape. Always make sure on a haircut that you are asking where your client parts. See, her hair just goes there. Partings for this haircut are really super simple. I literally just part directly down the center all the way. And I'm just gonna set this side over. Now with this haircut, we're gonna be using over direction for almost the entire thing. So by moving the hair forward, it's going to create length in the back, preserve that length in the back. But it's gonna give tons of great framing, the curtain bangs, all the framing and the layers around the face. So first, we will determine how short does she want her shortest pieces. She basically said I can do whatever I want, so it's a good friend to have. So I am going to start by taking a small section from her other side, just to make sure I'm getting my length even. This way a little bit. So I'm just creating a tiny little V right here, grabbing a little bit from each side of her part. These are going to be the shortest pieces, and this is what is going to be our guide. By combing everything forward, I'm going to point cut in on each side. Let's go about here, creating my guide. And again, she's just parted all the way down the whole center of her head. So to create this over direction, I'm going to be taking slightly C-shaped sections and pulling everything forward. This is graduation, and we are just going to cut. I used her curtain bang, her fringe as our guide. And I'm just going all the way down. And that's how we're gonna get all that awesome layering around the face. But by pulling everything forward, we're gonna preserve that length in the back to create that V or U shape. So again, there's my guide. I warned her I'd be cutting more hair off of the front. But this hair needed to go anyways. So working my way down, keeping everything pulled directly forward. I especially love this type of haircut for my clients that still want to wear a ponytail. I'm a long-haired person, so I understand what it's like at the end of the day to want to just throw your hair up. But even if you want to have a styled, cute ponytail, I love how a U or a V-shaped haircut creates that almost like a waterfall type of ponytail. Did you know that's what you were getting?
That's what I was hoping.
And then again, because she has all this fringe around her face, she has the option, if her hair is up, to pull out some cute framing pieces around her face. So again, because we're using over direction, you can see I'm cutting less and less off as I'm bringing I'm on my last section here. This is all the way to the center part in the back. I'm cutting less and less off compared to all that length I cut off on the front. So there's my guide right there, and I'm just gonna match it up. So basically, this haircut is fantastic for clients that say, I want a huge change, but I don't wanna lose my length. So before I let her other section down, spin you, I'm combing everything to the back. Pump it up. Because I want to check how the angle sits on the back of her shoulders versus everything being forward, this is kind of how I cross-check this haircut. So I just pulled it, you know, it's flat to the head, and I'm pulling everything how it would fall naturally. So you can see she's still pretty square down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of U out, creating that U shape right on this corner. So, and then once I get the other side done, I'll bring them both together and check them again. I am gonna go through and add some additional layers throughout. So I'm gonna start a little behind the ear, and I'm only gonna be going down to the occipital bone, not below. I wanna make sure I'm leaving out plenty of base. This haircut, pulling everything forward, over directing it, it does give a good amount of layering already, but I want to just do a little more, bringing it up higher. So you can see my pie shape part in here. I'm gonna comb everything straight up, and you can see there's a little tiny bit of an angle there, and I'm just gonna go in and create a little bit more. This is now my guide to use just around the back of the head to the same point on the other side. Cross-check this section. I just take my spinning guard. I'm just gonna take a small little rounded pie shape that grabs a little bit of the top of each section that I took. You can see there. And do the same thing, gonna pull it straight up and cross-check to make sure all those layers match, and take away any little spares that are hanging around. Can already see all that movement. All right, time to style. Today I'm gonna be using two of my favorite products. Will you hold that blow dry spray for me? First, I'm gonna go in with the Luxe Shine Oil. This is going to create beautiful shine. It has that gold in it. It's also gonna protect. It smells amazing, and it adds moisture. I'm gonna work that. I like to start kind of at the ears and work my way down so that I don't apply too much oil to the top of the head. Then, Kendra Platinum Blow Dry Spray, the one we know, the one we love. So with this, we are going to reduce her blow dry time, which is great for both of us. It's going to reduce frizz, add shine, block humidity, and give us thermal protection as we are styling.
Also smells delicious.
And it also smells delicious. For her style, I am going to be using just a paddle brush, and I'm going to be trying to just get it nice and smooth. Her hair naturally grows as it gets blow dried. So we're going to get her dry, and then I'm going to create nice waves with my 1 1/4 inch iron. All right, she is all blown dry. Love getting to see the color as it gets dry. So I'm gonna section her off, and I'm just gonna do some big curls with my 1 1/4 inch spring iron that once they are cooled, we'll just kind of loosen up with my hands. For prepping the hair, I'm going to use the brand new Kendra Anti-Humidity Spray 5. This just came out. It's a fantastic product. Here in Washington, we are humid all the time. It is always sticky here. There's always a sort of a mist falling from the sky. We also have static sometimes. So this product is going to help with both of those. It's going to block that humidity and reduce static. Plus you're going to get heat protection out of it. So I'm just going to layer that onto each section as I curl. And then I will finish everything off with another layer of it at the end with some other finishing products. Okay, so now that her hair is all curled, I've let it cool to the touch. Now I'm gonna go in with the Kendra Platinum Dry Texture Spray 6. This is one of my absolute favorite finishers. I personally love a good textury feel without the crispness of hairspray. And Khalees doesn't wash her hair every day, so she doesn't want to have like super crunchy hair tomorrow from hairspray. So we're gonna go in with a texture spray and just kind of go all throughout. And then I'm gonna get my hands in under there and mess up these beautiful curls to make them look a little more lived in. Okay, everything is cool to the touch. And I'm just gonna get in there. I'm gonna go from underneath and just shake them out. All right, shall we take some after pictures?
Love it.